Okay, I see that I'm live. I just wanted to make sure that everything's working. So we started a little bit early. As life is, can everybody hear me okay? Can I just maybe get a message that you are hearing me? Do I need to talk louder? Okay, so I am Claudia. Hi, I'm the occupational therapist at Livewell, and you are joining me in my living room this afternoon, which is a bit strange for me. You know, they say never to take work home with you, but you seem to be here. So, welcome to my house and welcome to my talk this afternoon. I'm quite excited to be doing this. Thanks, Ruan, for the the Livewell team supporting me. So, thanks, guys. It helps a lot. Um, you're joining me this afternoon to have a bit of a support group around keeping your loved one with dementia stimulated. So, thanks, Ruan. Good job. I am a little nervous. I feel slightly out of my comfort zone, but I think that this is the reality right now, and everybody is feeling very out of their comfort zones with everything that's happening. So, as Livewell, we've decided to take this to an online platform because we can't do our hi baby. Sorry, the 3-year-old is not sleeping. So she is probably going to come say hi to everybody. Say hi. Quick, say hi. Say hi, everybody. Okay, go play now. Sorry. Best laid plan to try and have her sleep, and it didn't quite work out. So she might be making a guest appearance a couple of times. As I said, I've lost my train of thought. Welcome to our online support group. We're trying something different so that we're able to reach everybody during the lockdown time so that you don't feel so isolated or lonely. So here we go. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what you're going to be talking about this afternoon and a little bit about me, and then we'll get into the topic. Could I just ask that if you have any questions, please feel free to add it to the chat box. After my talk, I will answer any questions you have happily. So as I mentioned, we've got about 2 minutes to 3 o'clock. So I'm going to introduce myself and then I'll get the ball rolling as the day goes. Okay, so I'm Claudia. I'm the occupational therapist at Livewell. I love my job. I get to do really fun things with really fun people, and I'm hoping to share some ideas with you today. As I mentioned, that we're living in a very interesting time of our lives, especially with the lockdown, and we can't go out like we want to. And I think it poses quite a big challenge, especially when you're living with a loved one. And I was thinking about this, and more than that, you are living this on a daily basis. I think for a lot of us, we're more aware because we can't go out because of the lockdown. But I think for a carer living with somebody with dementia, it's your everyday. It's a lot more of your reality. You can't do everything that you want to do, or it poses a challenge. So I'm going to talk for probably about the next 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll have some time to answer any questions. Hi, Heather. I see you. Okay. So the big question that I've been asked to do today is to talk about cognitive stimulation activities for your loved one. This is a bit of a difficult topic because, first of all, I don't want you to freak out. When you say cognitive stimulation, immediately you think, oh my God, goodness, I have to buy a whole bunch of stuff. And that's not the case. So in the past 2 weeks while I've been home, I've realized how much activities I've actually accumulated for myself, thinking, oh, I'm at the craft shop. I'm going to go and buy X, Y, and Z. And when I have time, I'm going to do it. So this lockdown has actually posed quite an interesting situation because that's forced me to actually go into my own craft cupboard. And I've realized how much activities I actually do have at home. So that's the first place I want to start. Is anything can be an activity. As an occupational therapist, I did some research because I love my research. And the one thing I found is an occupation is actually something that occupies your time. And especially for somebody with dementia, you have to look at how they occupy their day. For a lot of you, you're probably finding yourself and your loved one sitting in front of the television quite a bit trying to keep things up to date with what's happening outside. That has its benefits and it has its negatives. So what I want to do today is I've got some notes just to help keep me on track, because I tend to get very excited about what I'm talking about. But how to occupy your day in a meaningful and productive way without stressing yourself out even further. So I want to say that anything you do with your loved one can be an activity, whether it's making lunch, whether it's sweeping up, anything you do is an activity. What the recommendations are that you do cognitive stimulation for about 45 minutes twice a day. But I think that depends quite heavily on your loved one's level of functioning, how far they have progressed with dementia, and also your resources, because 45 minutes seems like a lot of time. So I think the big thing is that even 5 to 10 minutes of stimulation throughout the day helps a lot. And also, I want you to, if you think about your loved one, what did they do before they got dementia? If they were somebody that was a mechanic, what activities could you do with them that leads them back to that role as a mechanic, as a household executive, I'm told is the new term, a household executive, somebody that did a desk job. They not help you with filing? So I want you to think about, when you're working with your loved one and thinking of activities, of something that they used to do before the dementia kicked in. Some things I just want you to bear in mind in terms of your activities is they need to allow some self-expression. So you want the person doing the activity with you to be able to express themselves. And being an occupational therapist, for me, a lot of the times when I do crafts, I'm more focused on the end product and I don't actually think about the process that goes through. But working with people with dementia, I've had to change my way of doing things a little bit and moving away from the end product looks pretty to the experience that the person has while doing the project. So that's one of the things, is don't focus on that you're going to have the most beautiful cupcakes for Gordon Ramsay to judge. It's about the process that you go through with your loved one. It's also fostering an emotional connection. And I think this is one of the most important things, that you feel that you've got a bond with your loved one or the person that you're caring with in that moment. It could be the silliest of tasks, blowing bubbles or folding washing. So you need to foster that emotional connection. One of the most important things, and I think this living in this time right now is important, is to lessen anxiety and irritability. I'm feeling it, and I think a lot of you out there are feeling quite anxious about what's happening. So you want to do an activity that's going to take you away from that anxiety and that feeling for a little bit. It can be something quick and easy. It can be something that takes the whole day. But you want to feel better after you do it. The other thing is you want to be able to give the person purpose and meaning. So something that means something to them. And another thing is a sensory component. A lot of us are stuck inside with very limited resources to be able to go outside. So I want you to go through your kitchen cupboards, see what sort of smells you have. Go through your cupboards and see what different jerseys you have, what different t-shirts. That becomes a sorting activity that you can do with your loved one. Talk about, what are you smelling? What are you tasting? Have a high tea, something fun for the both of you to occupy your time. Another part of things that we look at Livewell is also, we want our loved one or the person that we're caring for to reminisce, to remember a time where they did something, whether it's going to the beach or read one of the articles that I read. They suggested take time and look through a photo album and discuss with the person what happened in this. They might not get the story completely right. It might get a little bit jumbled, but in that moment, they'll be in their moment and you can be in their moment with them. Going through all greeting cards. I know for a lot of you right now, you're probably doing like I am and doing a lot of spring cleaning and discovering old magazine articles and Christmas cards. Don't throw them away. This becomes a vehicle for a conversation where you can talk about, okay, this was Christmas in 1995, because for your loved one, it might be something that they're remembering. And listening to music. We have found that our residents with dementia make the biggest connection when they're listening to music. YouTube, this wonderful platform, is actually something great, because one afternoon before the lockdown, we sat and I plugged my laptop into the computer through an HDMI cable and I played music. And even our residents that weren't vocal and weren't able to communicate made that connection with the music, whether they smiled, whether they even just sat up and opened their eyes. In that moment, they were with us. I think music is a really important and undervalued tool for people living with dementia. Even for somebody that doesn't have dementia, that's a caregiver, put some music on while you clean. There is a lovely, I can't think of the link right now, but I can put it up once we're in our question and answers. It's a website that you go in and you pick the person's birth date and year that they were born, and it plays music from their time. And I think that fosters some memories and helps you create memories with your loved ones too. So next page. Yay, we're doing well. Also, something like sorting socks. One of the activities that I really dislike doing, but I think my grandmother with dementia used to do, was sort out her Tupperware cupboard. So now you have permission to go and mess up your cupboards, because then you can go get your loved one to go and sort it out. So unpack all your Tupperware, take the lids off, and ask them just to sort it out for you. For some, it might be a meaningful activity. For others, they might look at you like you've lost your mind. But in that moment, it'll keep them occupied. Sorting socks and coin sorting. We've got this lovely piggy bank and jar of coins. Have your loved ones sit and sort it out, especially if you're looking with somebody from a financial background that money means something to them. They can sit and sort it out. 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents. Another thing, if you're looking for somebody that is more in the handyman, have screws, go into your garage, see what you've got. The big thing is to utilize the resources that you have and not have to worry about going outside. Pasta, I remember as a child, I used to sit and do it, where you take the pasta and the shoelace and you thread it through. For people in the later phase of dementia, this is a great, because it encourages fine motor activity as well as that cognitive stimulation, which is what you want. For you, it might seem like a silly activity, and I think as caregivers, we have to be a bit cautious around our perception around the activity. Somebody in the later stage of dementia might find it meaningful to play with a doll or build a puzzle. In that moment, it's meaningful to them, although for us, it might seem a bit strange. So if your loved one also initiates the activity, a lot of the time we feel quite rushed and quite stressed, and we want them to stop doing what they want to do, and we try and get them to do what we want to do. And I think it's about taking that moment and pausing and actually initiating the activity for them. So if they go into their cupboards and they start packing and unpacking, go with it, because in that moment, that's the activity they need. And also, activities can be repeated. You really don't need a new activity every day. If you find that on Monday you sat and read through photo albums and the person is looking for that photo album again, grab it and repeat it. The more, it doesn't have to be fancy and elaborate activities. Something small can be something meaningful. Another thing that I've discovered at Livewell is something called Armchair travel. And YouTube and the internet is actually a great resource, because we took our residents to Scotland the other day. And then you start, and especially if your person has traveled a lot, it's a great way to get an emotional connection, because then you can start talking to them about what did they see, where did they go, what did they eat. You could even, if possible, even if they've just traveled around South Africa, you can still access some lovely armchair travels. I know the Kruger National Park has a virtual guide every day. So you can plug into your laptop, plug into your cell phone, and go through an activity like that. Technology is amazing because it allows us to connect, but it also opens up a world for us without actually leaving our houses. Another thing that, especially for the earlier phase dementia residents or residents, I'm just going to refer to them as residents because that's what you feel like you, and I that the internet seems to be not playing along today. As I was saying, self-care is important. Painting their nails, painting your nails. Now, please don't try and do this with your 90-year-old. On a hot day, make fruit salad. Try and engage the person in your daily tasks as much as possible. Where I pick her up and he moves things around the house. So what she would do is she would accidentally drop a pack of cards or empty out her button thing, and he would have to spend time picking up the cards or picking up the buttons. In that moment, that's the activity he's looking for. So instead of his emotional connection, one of the games that I tried out, which was quite successful, was or I will ask to put it on our website to have a garden. So we were on a good day, spending a lot of our time outside, what the resident needs. Some days I will have the most amazing, in my head, activities planned, and to break the activity up into easy, simple steps. Try not overload your person with, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, because I think the more excited you get, the more excited they'll get. So go through it slowly. Take your time. If there's a mistake, if somebody does something, it's okay. Do it slowly. Take your time. If you create a memory bag, you go through the house and you collect things and you put it in a bag, and they pull it out, and then they can actually talk about the memory that it brings up. It also gives you an opportunity to work on what they call stereognosis. So it's putting a hand in and identifying an object just from feel, and that also gives your cognitive stimulation. Beading, origami, our website has an awesome article written about some activities that you can do with your loved one. But the biggest thing for me is using the resources that you have, because ultimately those resources are going to be the ones that you're going to have at home permanently, and it can take you further than just lockdown. Because I think one of the things for carers is that it's not just about lockdown, it's about your everyday reality. So if you can find things that keep your person stimulated and you happy and them happy, then that's all I could ask for. That is my time. Do I have any questions from anybody? Anything you want to add? I'm busy reading the chat as you speak. I hope I have answered everybody's questions. As I said, keep it simple, keep it safe, keep happy, and keep healthy. Thank you.